Normally, I would say welcome, but the game is going to be doing that this time. This is the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I was going to play this closer to launch, but other stuff happened, I guess. Welcome to Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. That can be any of these. I wonder if it loops. Probably loops. I should pay attention. Blue shirt, sunglasses. Okay. I don't think it looped so far. Still going. It's still going. I need to know how far back this goes. This is kind of ridiculous. I haven't seen any sign of it stopping or looping. Yep, just holding that stick. Right. This one's close, but it doesn't have the sunglasses, so... Look at all these people lined up to get Switch 2s. This never ends, does it? I bet it's just, like, generating new ones. Let me get that one off screen for a bit, and then if I go back, is it still... Yeah, I think it's changing, no matter which way I go. Hey, look, here's a blonde hair, sunglasses, orange shirt, yellow pants, and orange shoes. Just give that a few seconds. Go back. Right, where's the same person from before? I don't know. This is just a very weird way to do character selection. Let's see. I hereby select... Nah, not orange gray guy. How about... That one's neat enough. Entry will begin soon, so please proceed to the gate. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Hello and welcome. What do you think of the venue? Is this the biggest Nintendo Switch 2 you've ever seen or what? Go ahead and walk all over it. There are all sorts of things to do around here. You can gain some insight into what makes Nintendo Switch 2 tick. Take some quizzes about the system, experience tech demos that show off the system features, and of course, play minigames. What was the last thing? Oh, the stamp rally. Stamps are hidden all over the place, so happy hunting. By the way, if you want to move around and more quickly, press and hold B to run. The exhibition is really big, so it might save you some time. The left Joy-Con 2 area. Hi there, I can invert cameras controls if you want. Normally, if you tilt the right stick to the right, the camera will move to the right. If you tilt the right stick to the left and the camera moves to the right, it's called inverted. If moving the camera left and right doesn't feel quite natural as it is, try switching between normal and inverted controls. If you find a lost item, be sure to give it to a newbie staff member to your right. The veteran staff member to your left is in charge of camera settings. Welcome. Thank you for visiting the Lost and Found desk. I have a feeling that somewhere out there a lost item longs for its home. If you happen to find it, please bring it to me. Oh, look, I'm under the stick. No way to turn the camera to see me under the stick, but still, I was there. Oh, this thing just popped up. Left stick. Were you startled by that stamp popping up? Don't worry, it's harmless. Have fun with the stamp rally. Hunting down the hidden stamps is sure to be a blast. Got a big grumble for that. This is the exit. I can't believe it. We're finally here. This place is massive. The ZL button. Yeah. Looks like you can learn some stuff about Nintendo Switch 2 here. I'm gonna read up on this. You two can go ahead without me. L button. Sorry, you can't go through here yet. Come back after you've had a good look around Area E. Wait, is this a button I'm sitting on? Minus button. Mouse foot, upper. The mouse feet make it easier to slide the Joy-Con 2 controllers when you're using mouse controls. Release button. You can lightly press these buttons to detach Joy-Con 2 controllers from the console. I read an insight that said you can play games that use a mouse in each hand. I wonder what sort of games would use a control scheme like that. SL button. Mouse sensor. These sensors check the surface they're on, like the table or your lap, to work out how they're moved. Player LED. Magnetic connector. This mechanism attaches the Joy-Con 2 controllers to the console. Sync button. Wow, I had no idea the buttons were made of steel. SR button. Mouse foot, lower. When you use mouse controls, the mouse feet make the Joy-Con 2 controllers easier to move around. If I don't do this quiz right now, I'm just gonna have to backtrack here. So, you can learn about attaching and detaching Joy-Con 2 controllers. You can find out how they attach to the console, and that you can actually attach them backwards, and more. Just what I like to hear. Then without further ado, introducing Magnetic Connector Insights 1. Attaching and detaching them is easy. To detach controllers from the Switch 2 console, press the release button and they'll come off in an instant. You'll be able to detach them even if the console is in the dock, even with a single hand. To attach Joy-Con 2 controllers, simply bring them near the console. They're easy to detach and attach. They attach magnetically. Unlike Nintendo Switch, there is no lock-in mechanism to prevent the controllers from being detached. The only thing keeping them connected is the force of the magnets. Here's a fun fact about Joy-Con 2 controllers. Each controller can be attached to the opposite side of the console. They can even be attached backwards. However, this orientation is not recommended. The Joy-Con 2 controllers won't charge when attached this way. Where are the magnets? The Joy-Con 2 controllers attach to the Nintendo Switch 2 console magnetically, but just where are these magnets? Well, they're on the main body of the console. The Joy-Con 2 controllers don't have any magnets that attach to the console. The SL and SR buttons are made of steel. The magnets on the console attract the SL and SR buttons. You've read all the insights. I think a little quiz is in order. If you've read all the insights, this should be no problem. Question 1. Which of the following is used to detach them? Telekinesis. Question 2. Which of the following is used to attach the console? Glue. Love. In which ways can they be attached to the console? And where are the magnets? Done. Results. Perfect score. Amazing. You really know the ins and outs of the magnetic connectors now, huh? Yippee. Hold on, was that new? No. Zigzagging just in case there's anything else that I missed. You can learn about HD Rumble too. The kinds of vibrations it makes, where it's located, and how it works, and more. Take a look here. These are the HD Rumble 2 parts for the Switch 2 console. They're different from the Rumble parts on the Switch console. In fact, these parts have been custom built from the ground up. They're housed within both the Joy-Con 2 and Switch 2 Pro controller. And in order to fit inside both the Joy-Con 2 and Switch 2 Pro controller, they had to undergo even further separate customization. The rumble of the controller is created when magnets and electromagnets shift a weight. The rumble of older Nintendo controllers is created by a motor spinning a weight. When it comes to Switch 2 HD Rumble and Switch HD Rumble and Switch 2 HD Rumble 2, the weight isn't spinning. Instead, it vibrates side to side at a very high speed. It's similar to how some trains use magnets to levitate, allowing them to move at extremely high speeds. Vibrating the weight sideways makes it easier to make it rumble in various ways. The Switch 2 console's HD Rumble 2 feature has a range of intensity, from very weak vibrations like a gentle touch to stronger vibrations. At maximum strength, the sensation will be much stronger than that on Nintendo Switch. However, these strong vibrations won't be used the whole time you're playing a game. Rather, the powerful rumble is reserved for specific moments where it makes the most sense. The Joy-Con 2 controllers rumble in your hands. They've been designed to transmit this sensation directly, no matter how you're holding them. This is because HD Rumble 2 parts are directly attached to the plastic on the back. The parts being so close to where your hands are holding the controllers makes the vibrations easier to feel. Alright, quiz time. Perfect score. How are you enjoying the insights quizzes? If you'd like, I can give you some special insights. Oh, you'd like me to share my insights with you? Perfect. You can actually use mouse controls on the Switch 2 home menu. Go to the home menu, place the Joy-Con 2 controller on a surface, holding it as you would a mouse, and it will change to mouse controls. There's still much to discover about Nintendo Switch 2. Hope you'll take all the time to find it all. Alright, there's gotta be stamps for the face buttons. Left button. Up button. Would you look at that? You can tilt the right stick left and right to get a better view of the surroundings. You want to play this minigame? Go ahead and talk to the staff member. Capture button. Got every stamp in this area. Oh boy. Or at least it's enough to unlock Area B. That was so much fun. I didn't think we'd see something like that. The maracas are so cool. They feel so realistic. The left Joy-Con 2 controller lets me use mouse controls with my left hand. You have to press L while holding it like a mouse. Oh, I found a lost item. Did you know you can press and hold B to run? Let me at the stamps. I found a lost item. I have a feeling there's somewhere out there. A lost item longs for its home. If I hit the map... Stamps. There's a one tech demo. Several minigames. Another quiz. 58% of the information center. Any idea? You can't go through here yet. Do do do. Do 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 do. Alright, so we got this UFO here, ready to show off your mouse skills. In this minigame, there will be lots of spiked balls falling from the sky. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. You'll need to use your mouse skills to dodge gracefully and weave tactically around them. It can be pretty tricky, so stay focused. I just happen to have a table in front of me for the stream. This exhibit requires mouse controls. Hi. You know, it's not telling me to put the strap on for this, but I'm gonna, because it's got the little extra padding. I mean, there are apparently little rubber feet here. Ow. Look, I bought all the Labo. My mind is open. Dodge the spiked balls. Ah, missed by 3.26 seconds. Okay, clicking the button doesn't do anything. It really is just about the movement here. Oh, no, there's green one. Ah! So close to that next best time. Whee! Ba-doo-ba-doo. Oh! Why did that feel tougher? It's supposed to be the same difficulty. Ow. That one was worse. Thought I could move through it fast enough. I'm gonna try actually putting the strap around my wrist because that can a little bit in the way when it's on the table. All right, it's just you and me. And you're spinning spikes of doom. Ah! I have no idea how bad Toho can get. No, no. I twitch just a little too much and then it's all over. I swear I moved left. Man, I kind of wish that the spikes didn't spin. I'm at least familiar with Ikaruga, but I never played it. Kind of wish all the stuff wasn't spinning because I kind of get zoned out by all the spinning stuff on the screen at once, and that makes it a little harder. Like, you know that phenomenon that can happen when you're driving if you're not careful and you just keep seeing the painted lines on the road pass you by repeatedly? Well, I made it that time, so we're good. Wahoo! Dodge the spiked balls, and I got both medals. Wow, you dodged those spiked balls with ease. Such elegant mouse handling. Looks like part 2 is available. Collect clear medals, huh? Oh, you just got your first medal. I've already got 5. Yep, I'm pretty good at this stuff. I come here every day. Nobody's gonna get more clear medals than me. I see they put Gary Oak in this game. Rest in peace, Gary Oak voice actor. Am I what, in Australia? Catch the stars. Dodge the spiked balls and collect the stars. Ow. Okay, the goal is 40. This might take a bit. Why'd they do that? Is it possible that they're only allowing me to get 2 right now, and that the third one is a post-game thing? Because if so, that's evil. They can't just grind it out. Wow. Come on, Nintendo, you're supposed to make the easy games. Let's just ignore stuff like Metroid Dread and... I thought I could squeeze the thread the needle between those 2 spike balls. Clearly after it's wrong. Clearly I'm wrong. Alright, I at least got the first medal for 20. It'll only be twice as hard to get the 40. Oh, no. Oh, no. And I'm like honor bound to do these. Not because I claim to be good at mouse minigames, but because the whole reason I'm looking at this is because it seemed like the spiritual successor to Labo. Again, really thought I could thread that needle. I think I just need to get as many of these early stars as possible while they're relatively free of spikes. I swear I moved down and away from that spike ball. I swear that spike ball sped up. Oh, that center zone looked like a madhouse. I cannot remember the specific micro game to which you refer. Was it a sewing thing? Because needles. Ah, caught the stars. Oh, there's part 3. Sorry, I can't unlock this minigame until you've collected 31 medals. This minigame will showcase some of what the HD Rumble 2 feature can do. You're likely aware that HD Rumble 2 can produce very strong vibrations. This minigame will allow you to experience these firsthand. Move the mouse from side to side and the vibration will change in strength. Try to find where it's strongest. Definitely moving stronger to the left. That feels pretty strong. Does it get any stronger? That's got to be a little weaker. I'm going to go with here. That's a distance of 27? 27 what? What? Over there? You know, I feel like if you can't beat this minigame to their expectations, that the feature is not working as well as it should be. Like, shouldn't this be a demo of, like, wow, you can really feel the fine differences in vibration? Like, wouldn't it be a stronger demo if it was really easy to win? Oh, the third medal is secret. Well, I guess HD Rumble 2 works great. Maybe it was so easy to win that. Astonishing, you perfectly pinpointed the Rumble's epicenter. I must concede your sensing strong Rumble really is your forte. Part 2 is now open to the public. I've racked up 10. Pretty impressive, I know. And I have at least 7 medals. So we can go along 2 axes. Oh, okay, you don't have to move one and then the other. It's just anywhere in the 2D plane. But somewhere in this bottom left area, for sure. This is where it's been strongest so far. I like the isometric cubes as a way to line things up. Yeah, it's a little stronger up here. You joke, but I bet they could do that if they really wanted to, using, like, gyroscope stuff. All right, I'm going to try here. Not close enough for that third medal, I bet. Here, let's try speed running this. Definitely the right side. Definitely closer to the bottom than the top. Probably around... Okay, not bad for moving quickly. Although, still, they really expect you to get closer. Really? It felt so strong. Like this? Well, nice, but ah! What? I think this thing is lying. I don't suppose that's good enough. Nope. You know, I'm semi-cheating. I would love to explain how, but I would like for it to work before I explain how. I mean, it's clearly not the most effective method of cheating if I can't get it to work. Yeah, I should pitch that for the next SGDQ. Fucking hell. For reasons other than rumble ability. If it has to do with owning accessories, that's not an issue. That's actually why I didn't end up streaming this closer to launch. It's because I was trying to figure out how to make the stream viable with the fact that you need the camera. And the Pro Controller came a little later than the console did. And I heard there's a kickstand minigame, so I was trying to figure out videoing that portion. Oh, is it the fact that you need a 4K TV? I think my TV is. I know it's not 120 hertz. Is it? I forget. If mine isn't, then there's probably another one in the house. Although I probably won't be able to stream that part if it's in another part of the house. I didn't click that. Ah. This is probably a very boring part of the stream because... What? All right, let me explain how I was trying to cheat. I've got my, what is it called? I've got my audio interface right next to where I'm moving the Joy-Con mouse. And so whenever the controller vibrates on the table, the audio interface is showing me volume levels. So I was watching if those got louder. Whatever, I'll leave that third medal for the sake of variety. There's more. But I need 30 medals. If you've got time, this isn't exactly a game per se, but give it a try. In this demo, you get to shake the Joy-Con 2 as if they're maracas. Physics-based calculations are used to make the beads in the maracas behave like real beads. As the beads shake around inside, the Joy-Con 2 controllers rumble to simulate that effect. Move the beads around inside and see for yourself. Shake the Joy-Con 2 controller, they recommend. Checklist. Shake the beads 20 times. Change appearance. Shake a rubber ball 20 times. Gently roll the beads and... Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha. Yeah. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Sha-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wow, the secret thing was just shake it 100 times. Okay. In my personal opinion, the rubber ball feels way more satisfying to shake around than the beads. Like, I don't know. I haven't shaken actual maracas in a very, very long time, but I don't feel like this is maracas. But when I switch to the rubber ball and I flap that around, that feels true to what it's trying to say it is. This legitimately feels like there's a bouncy ball inside the controller, which is neat. I mean, I know we've had similar technology since not everybody, the original 1-2 Switch with the ball count. I would say that was a better showing than the maracas. But the rubber ball thing is cool. Maybe I just don't remember how maracas feel. Well, I'm gonna go to Area B. Did I get all the stamps? You bet. Area B can be a little slippery, so watch your step. It's the tablet. The X map is real handy, huh? You can pick any exhibit you've visited before and zip right to it. This area is pretty big. Might be best to move around using the map. Left speaker. Also, yes, they actually made an ice physics area in this game. My sixth sense, it speaks to me. It's saying there's a hidden stamp near here. I would hope, because that's the other magnetic connector bit. Try this edge. Try not quite the edge, but more the bezel. There's a little elevator. Maybe it's underneath the man. I thought we'd get to take a look. I never thought we'd get to take a look around somewhere like this. I'm gonna check out every inch of this place, corner to corner, top to bottom. Magnetic connector, left. This mechanism attaches the Joy-Con 2 to the console. Doobie doobie doo 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 ba boop ba. Nothing in this little nook. It can also just be random lost items, so really gotta scour. I don't want to call them inches, millimeters, pixels. Yeah. I am mashing A in case I find an item. I don't mean to keep talking to you. Power button. Volume buttons. Brightness sensor. Air vent. Child. There sure are a lot of stamps on the edge of this area, huh? I didn't think there'd be this many. USB-C. Registered. Connector. Upper. This connector can be used to charge the console's battery, connect a camera, and more. Audio jack. Game card slot. Microphone. The microphone can also remove background noise. I read in an insight that the sound of clapping specifically doesn't get removed. That sure came out of left field. You can learn about the Switch 2 console's microphone here. Ooh, 5 insights. The microphone and chip. The Nintendo Switch 2 console has a built-in microphone designed to improve the game chat experience. Aside from the microphone, the console contains a chip, which makes people's voices easier to hear. This is handy for when you want to chat as you play. The console's chip is designed to make your voices easier for you to hear. One way it does so is by reducing the noise around you. This is called noise reduction. The Switch 2 console uses a form of noise reduction that's been customized for playing games. This noise reduction function doesn't just focus on spoken words, it is designed to preserve mood and emotions. Take the sound of clapping. If you just wanted to convey words, this sound would be treated as noise and reduced. We've balanced this so that clapping doesn't go away, letting you immerse the vibrant positive atmosphere. It's a form of noise reduction designed for playing games. The console's chip is designed to make voices easier for you to hear. One way it does so is by reducing unwanted background noise, such as a vacuum cleaner. But that's not all. The Switch 2 microphone also picks up sounds from the console itself. For example, it picks up the sound from the Switch 2 console's air vent. The air vent is positioned right next to the microphone, so it ends up being much louder than a person's voice. With the chip, this loud noise is completely erased. Also, it removes the snapping noise you hear when you attach the Joy-Con too. It's been designed to reduce as much external noise as possible so others can hear you. The console's chip is designed to make voices easier for you to hear. One way it does so is by removing game sounds that the microphone picks up from the TV or the console speakers. This video is purely for reference. If it didn't do this, it would be hard to hear what people said in game chat as people talk back and forth. It can get noisy with the overlapping sounds. Noise that gets re-amplified like this is called feedback. This video is purely for reference. The chip does its best to remove these game sounds and prevent feedback. Although realistically, there can be all sorts of sounds coming out of a TV. These sounds can vary depending on the TV and the specific setup in your home, so removing them can be difficult. For that reason, game sounds are also sent to the chip. This chip selectively removes these sounds based on the sound quality and acoustics. And finally, the console's chip is designed to make voices easier for you to hear. If some people are quieter than others in game chat, it might make it difficult to pick out. The chip automatically makes it so each voice can be heard at roughly the same volume. Of course, some people are naturally going to sound louder than others, but more importantly, voice volume differs depending on the mode. In handheld, the console will be close to you, delivering sound straight to the microphone. In TV mode, however, the dock can be relatively far away, which means the mic may have trouble picking up sound. Whether someone's up close in handheld or sitting on the sofa far from the TV, you'll be able to hear voices at about the same volume. On top of that, even if several people are in front of the TV talking loudly, the chip takes into account of their individual voices and balances out their volume. Or so they say, but I don't have the conditions to test out all this stuff and see if their claims hold water. Which component designed for game chat is built into the console? A tiny conversation partner. The Switch 2's built-in chip removes noise to make it easier for you to hear, but one type of sound is not removed. The sound of rain. Let's see, it would be called... Tiny conversation partner would be called, Kathy? Chatty Kathy? Where does this buzzing noise come from? Angry bees! The chip makes it possible to avoid payback. The chip in the console balances out the size of their mouths. Alright, there's another right over here. Game cards. If you take a peek inside a Nintendo Switch 2 game card, You'll void your warranty, and you'll see that it's quite different from a Switch game card. Its data can be read in a different way. Assuming a buffer size of 4 megabytes, the read speed is about 5 times faster than stupid scam numbers. Assuming a buffer size of 4 megabytes, the read speed is about 5 times faster than that of a Switch game card. However, some games may be doing more in the background than just loading, so it's not guaranteed to load around 5 times faster. Also, Switch 2 game cards have a higher total capacity than Switch game cards. So the contents of these game cards are really quite different. There are 2 different colors of game card. Nintendo Switch game cards are black, while Switch 2 game cards are red. Other than the colors, they look practically the same in terms of size and shape, but there's actually one more difference. The Switch 2 game card has a distinct shape. When a game card is inserted into the game card slot, the Switch 2 console checks to see if this game card has this shape. This is how it tells the difference between Switch 2 game cards and Switch game cards. It changes the way it reads data based on this. The Switch 2 console has a game card slot, but it doesn't just take red Switch 2 cards, you can also insert black Switch cards. So what does this mean? It means in addition to being able to play games exclusive to Switch 2, you can play certain Nintendo Switch games too. Certain are not fully compatible. You can play many different games on Switch too. What do Switch 2 game cards have more of? More labels. What is the purpose of the distinct shape? Makes them harder to lose. What kind of game cards can be inserted? Not really a funny answer there. Wow. Wowie wow wow. Slippy slippy slip. This might be a good chance to bring up getting a 4K compatible TV. I'll practice my pitch on the way home. Wasn't expecting a tech demo like this. I traveled a long way to get here and it's already worth the trip. The 4K image on the Switch 2 console right now is made up of lots of different pixels. Images of the old NES or Famicom had far fewer pixels than this. If you try to display each pixel from them back with the pixels of a modern 4K image, there's a massive difference. I guess this is the time where I find out if I'm on a 4K TV. Complete the course. Enter a pipe and complete the course. Complete the course as Fire Mario. Fully explore and complete the course. Question mark, question mark. Do, 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 do. Well, fortunately, I have experience beating this game on the special edition Game & Watch that came out. You know, that tiny little thing. The Mario edition Game & Watch. I have indeed beaten this game on that tiny little thing. So surely, well, so much for beating the course as Fire Mario. I entered the pipe. So many coins for me. Oh, it walked me all the way over here. Alright, in Mario 1, you can't go back to the left. So, whoopsie doodle. Alright, let's hit top of the flagpole at least. Because oh, come on. Okay, let's not enter the underground this time. I'm running up against the invisible wall here because of the aforementioned. Once it scrolls over, you can't go back. Die, Goombas, die. Now I'm Fire Mario. Getting there. I'd say the hardest part of this is remembering that I can only use the A and B buttons because it is mapped exactly the way it is on the NES. Ah! I don't want to lose my fire when I'm this close. Okay. And I did not hit top of the flagpole again. Oh, the secret thing wasn't top of the flagpole. It was get a 1-up. I think I remember where that is. Just take that for insurance. Ah. I've already lost my insurance. There's the 1-up. Ta-da! And that's what it's like mapping each pixel from Mario Bros. On a 4K screen. It looks super tiny, right? They have fireworks? I need to see this. I am so down with HDR. Oh, it's an HDR demo? I have it turned off for capture. Explosions, nightscapes, all that stuff should look shiny. Its brightness will depend on your TV's HDR capabilities. Well, I can probably still go through the demo. It just won't look the way they intend it. A and R to set off fireworks, X to toggle HDR and SDR. Toggle it 5 times while paused. Pause 3 times. Well, I sure did set off the fireworks. The center of that explosion sure does look different, but HDR is currently disabled on the console because of the capture card. So we're seeing something different, but see Nintendo Switch 2 light up the sky. I guess that just means keep firing off the fireworks. That one in the middle looks special. And I know what that's gonna do. Nintendo Switch 2. I beat the HDR demo without the HDR. In this minigame, you need to spot the difference between pairs of videos. The image shown on screen when you play a game changes rapidly. We call the rate at which it changes the frame rate, which is measured in frames per second, or FPS. The higher the frame rate, the smoother the game will look. Switch 2 can reach up to 120 FPS. I've not seen a drone show, but I do know about the nuisance of fireworks because people around me like to fire them off. And then, you know, lo and behold, the shrapnel ends up in our yard. Can you tell the smoothness of 120 FPS apart from the other frame rates? I don't think my TV displays 120 FPS, and I think it's checking that now. No. The screen went black, so I assumed it was checking if it could even do it. I'd say that was 20. Okay, I didn't think I'd get 120 right off the bat. That's 20. Yeah. Next. That seemed pretty smooth. Doink, 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 doink. That also seemed pretty smooth. The other option is only 60 though. My gut says that they keep feeding me to 120s. Oh yeah, on this team, like I said, I don't have a 120 hertz TV. This is a fact that I know for sure, unlike the 4K thing where I wasn't completely sure about that. I think it is a 4K, but it's definitely not 120. And I swear these videos look identical. And that's probably because the TV can only show me 60. So they must both be running at 60. Gambler's fallacy? Oh. I won't try this one too many times because I am limited by the ability of my screen. If I play this in handheld, since the Switch screen, the Switch 2 screen goes up to 120 hertz, so if I take this off the TV, then I at least have a fair shot. But then I can't stream it. Yeah, we're gonna quit out of that. Man, it does not like entering or leaving that minigame. I'm only pretty good at it. Yeah, I'm not gonna... I am not gonna give that another try until I can do it on the handheld. Oh, I got one question wrong. I should review the content. For the console screen. If you could zoom in really close to the Switch 2 console screen, you'd see it's made up of lots and lots of little dots called pixels. There are 1,920 horizontally and 1,080 vertically to be precise. This is also called 1920 by 1080 resolution. That's 2.25 times the resolution of the Nintendo Switch console. In fact, it's the highest resolution ever used on a Nintendo console. As for the size of the pixels, they're the smallest of any Nintendo console to date. Having the most pixels and the smallest pixels provides a crisper, more detailed screen. You may have noticed already, but the Switch 2 console screen can emit some very bright light. You could say this screen is HDR compatible. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. The Nintendo Switch console has approximately 116.77 million different types of light and color. Meanwhile, the Nintendo Switch 2 console can use hundreds of millions of different types of light and color. In games that support HDR, it's now possible to display bright, intense light. Here's a non-HDR image. And here is what happens when HDR is used, but remember, HDR is currently disabled on the console, so, yeah. In the non-HDR image, there's very little difference in the brightness between the most vivid parts of the explosion and the area around it. Meanwhile, in the HDR image, the brighter areas can shine very brightly while the darker parts remain unchanged. That would be the case if it was working properly or even turned on, but don't worry, we took care not to make it too bright. The Nintendo Switch 2 console screen can change images at high speed, up to 120 times per second, in fact. So we say the screen is 120 Hz compatible. The faster the pictures change, the smoother the movement will appear. The Nintendo Switch console screen changes images up to 60 times per second. So a rate of 120 times per second will mean this movement looks twice as smooth. The image shown is just an example, but for games that support 120 FPS, mouse movements will appear smoother. Using the right stick to look around will also feel smoother, and scrolling the screen will look smoother. But that's not the only benefit of playing games that support 120 Hz. The world appears to you 1/120th of a second faster, which could give you an advantage during very intense gameplay. Here's another thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen. It can make games feel less choppy. You could also say the screen is VRR compatible. VRR is short for variable refresh rate. When you're playing a game and a lot of characters appear on the screen, and they're forcing me to sit through this little animation, the frame rate can become choppy. Here's what's happening. It takes a little longer than normal to draw each picture. Because of this, the pictures aren't ready in time for when they're meant to be updated on the screen. So, if the image has been changing 60 times every second, even a slight delay would skew the timing. Suddenly, the pictures would update at half the rate, only 30 times per second. You can see why a game might feel choppy. So in games that support VRR, the update rate can be changed on the fly to match the image completion rate. If it takes a little longer to draw the image, the update rate can be changed to 55 times per second. This is better than suddenly dropping to half the rate, so it's likely to feel less choppy. This all means that some players find VRR-compatible games comfortable to play. This video is purely for reference. The Nintendo Switch 2 console screen does more than just display images, it's also a touch screen that you can use with your fingers. It's designed to recognize when you touch the screen. When you're touching with two fingers, it can tell your fingers are close together or far apart. This might be familiar already, but there's a little more to this. The Switch 2 console's touchscreen can tell the position of up to 10 fingers at the same time. The Switch 2 is made up of pickles. Enabling HDR gives us a three-dimensional image. Other than the pickle thing, there wasn't very many funny answers in that one. I sure do know about that screen now. USB Type-C connector, lower. Oh, that's what you meant. Air intake lower right. That would mean I missed air intake lower left. Oh, you. Yep, I sure did read the material and then copy the answers onto the test. Oh, you can fall down. It's facing downward just a little. Bigger. I love to learn, so I'm just focusing on reading all the insights. I'm glad you can get from area to area just by collecting stamps. This looks like a touchscreen minigame, which I am not currently ready to, Yeah, currently can't really capture a touchscreen minigame. Alright, speakers. The Nintendo Switch 2 speaker parts haven't actually changed. They're the same speaker parts that were used in the Switch OLED model, but they function a little better on the Nintendo Switch 2 console. They produce better sound. This is because the speaker parts are placed in a box. We made sure that all sides of the box were tightly sealed except for the front. If there's a gap where sound can leak out, it may cancel out the sound from the front, or it may be muffled. The sound can be distorted and not come out as intended. Even though the console uses the same speaker parts, the tightly sealed gaps around them make sure the sounds come out more accurately. If you look at the box containing the speaker parts, you'd see there are spongy cushions attached to the top and bottom. They firmly sandwich the box. Because of this, other parts won't shake around along with the box. If the other parts were to end up shaking, the sound would get muddied and wouldn't come out as intended. Speakers are parts that turn sound data into sound, but when that sound enters your ears, for various reasons, it doesn't sound exactly like the original data. On the Switch 2 console, in order to make the sound close to the original data, we edit the sound that's played through the speakers. We recorded and analyzed the sound of the speakers, and calculated how to edit the sound in advance. Nintendo Switch 2 has a faster computer, and as such is able to produce sounds in high quality. By the way, the Switch 2 speakers are designed to fit as tightly as possible inside the console. Because of this, they actually slope diagonally downward a little. But by editing the sound, we managed to make it sound as if the speakers are facing forward. It's filled with water. It's punched with tiny holes. Clothespins, thin slices of bread. Oh, you're the fancy insight person. You can change the mouse sensitivity in the system settings. Feel free to customize the cursor speed if it'll help with some of the minigames. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Just between you and me, let me tell you a little trick. Sometimes a minigame might just feel impossible, or maybe you can't get into a tech demo because you don't have a 4K TV or some other piece of equipment. Well, in those situations, stand near the staff member and press Y in this pattern. Dot dot dot, dash dash dash, dot dot dot. Dot as a quick tap and dash as a long press. They'll give you however many skip medals you need to clear the exhibition. Give it a try if you're really stuck. Well, that's nice of them, I guess. I feel bad for anyone who doesn't talk to all the little NPCs to learn that. A stand as light and robust as extra super duralumin. That's my favorite kind of duralumin. Never thought I'd hear that around these parts. Whoa, the vacuum cleaner and hairdryer noises were totally gone. That's wild. I was trying to click on the quiz. Alright, the kickstand. Only one thing to read. There's a stand on the back of the console. You can use it to prop the console up. The angle that the console sits at can be adjusted freely. Starting from a fully closed position, the stand opens up to 150 degrees. You can fix it in place at any point within this range. The Switch 2 console stand has a different shape from the Switch consoles. The OLED model is pictured here. For Nintendo Switch 2, we made it a U-shaped and left a bit more space in the middle. This allowed us to make the fan and battery bigger and add new antennas. As a result, the console is now able to perform more calculations. One thing about this stand, it's made of aluminum alloy, which is very light and robust. It's about as light as robust as a material known as extra super duralumin, which is used in airplanes and spacecraft. What is the shape of the Switch 2 console stand? Oh, the callback to the stand for the Wii U gamepad. They even put the Wii U logo on it. Also, the other consoles are labeled without the 2. So if you look at the picture, I wonder which one is the Switch 2. I don't know. Man, this is the hardest quiz yet. Also, I just realized I can use mouse controls on the quizzes. Question 2. Benjamin. I guess I'm an outstanding student. Slippery, but fun. Woo, 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 woo. There's the right magnetic connector. Woo, 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 woo. Lost item. Boobadoo bop bop boobadoo doo da ba doo ba doo 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 doo. Wee. Okay, so that's the touch mini game. Looks like we got all the stamps here. This screen is gigantic. And here's the stamp for the actual screen. I did it. I found the stamps. I found the stamps. I can go to Area C. I just see if there's any other, like, lost items or whatever in the middle of the screen. Like, if they were gonna hide anything, the big, gigantic, empty area that you slide around would be the place to do it. Alright, well, I'll use the map. And we're back to the left stick. Alright, so there's a couple things I didn't do here in the left area, but there was also, like, I think those are the locked things. Oh, wait, no, it tells you which ones are locked. I got the stamps. Right, I didn't play that tech demo. You can warp me to the stand. Okay, what did you want? Noise reduction. Experience all sound but your voice vanishing. Record and play back the audio. Okay, there is an air conditioner running in this room, so... Bibbidi boop bop boopity day. Bibbidi bop bop bum. Bibbidi boop bop boopity day. Bibbidi bop bop bum. We gotta really put this through its strain now, cause they said they would not eliminate clapping noises. I just clapped. I just clapped. Is there a different noise I should test? Of course, now my phone... Now I don't get a scam call on my phone, right? This would have been the perfect moment for that. Yeah, I'll just exit. Wee. I fell down. Area C. Look, it's that right Joy-Con. Plus button. R button. ZR button. The Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't include a staircase to the R button. Rip off. We found A. And B. and Y and X. Did any exhibits catch your interest? I want to try out the stand angle minigame. Ooh, and the one where the rumble turns into sound. NFC touchpoint. You can scan an amiibo. Right stick. Home button, C button, this is accessing game chat. Is this the new button? I think I'm starting to get the hang of these mouse controls. Just a little more practice and I'll have that second clear medal in the bag. Guess the angle. Okay, this is a... You know, as someone who teaches math, including geometry, I really should be able to know my angles pretty well, but, can't leave the Switch in the dock and play that now, can I? Speed maze on walls. Alright. Back to putting my skills to the test. Ow. Maybe I do need to adjust the sensitivity. And this is the first time I'm really using the mouse controls. 2.5 seconds. And that's just the second one. Oh, Jesus. Maybe I should at least just go for the 1 medal and not sweat the 2.5 thing. That just seems so close, though. I should definitely play with the sensitivity settings. Just to see if it helps at all. Oh, part 2. No, 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 no. What? You have that many? Well, I still have more than you. Be quick down the straightaways, but slow down for the curves. Yeah, I never would have figured that out. The Rumble Pack is a blast from the past. That thing really added a jolt to my gameplay experience. Did you know HD Rumble 2 can produce its own sounds? The Nintendo Switch 2 System's HD Rumble 2 is a pretty versatile feature. It can produce various vibration patterns. The number of vibrations per second can be adjusted in a short amount of time, so the patterns can be complex. The Nintendo Switch System's HD Rumble was limited in the vibrations it could handle, but with HD Rumble 2, all sorts of vibration patterns are possible. It can also reproduce realistic sensations. So they claim. One aspect of the Switch 2 System's HD Rumble 2 feature is that it's very responsive. As soon as the game sends a signal to initiate the rumble, the high intensity of rumble can be reached in an instant. This response time is much quicker than with a motor, which creates rumble by spinning a weight. It's also several times faster than the Switch system's HD rumble. Receiving quick feedback from the rumble feature can feel pretty satisfying. The Nintendo Switch 2 system's HD Rumble 2 can do more than create vibrations, it can create sounds. This is possible because speakers and the HD Rumble 2 feature operate in similar ways. Speakers produce sound by vibrating a soft plate. HD Rumble 2 produces sound by vibrating a weight, which causes the Joy-Con 2 to vibrate in turn. The Switch Joy-Con makes sounds too, but the volume and clarity have been improved here. Nintendo have been making controllers with Rumble for a long time. 1997 Nintendo 64 Rumble Pack, 2001 GameCube controller, 2006 Wii Remote for Wii, 2012 Wii U Gamepad for Wii U, 2017 Joy-Con for Nintendo Switch, 2018 Pokeball Plus for Nintendo Switch. We've been adding Rumble to controllers and accessories for a long time in order to enhance gaming experience. I did not expect the shout out to Pokeball Plus, which I do own, and I did play through the entirety of Let's Go Eevee with that thing. Low synced to the Rumble would be very neat, but I'm sure that that would cause all sorts of battery problems. Out of the HD Rumble in 2 features, which is more responsive. HD Rumble 2 features produces by the hand of the person holding them. The very foundations of our understanding. Since when have they been making controllers? Not since the SNES, unfortunately. Unsuccessful. One I got wrong was... I don't think... Let me look at that question again. Okay, none of these answers match what was written. I picked a soft plate because I remember hearing about that with the speaker. But upon rereading the thing, it says it's shaking a weight, which I knew, but none of these options say a weight. So I guess they want me to pick the controller? But that's wrong. According to their own reading material, I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Alright, let's take the stairs down. Hit the SL button on the right. Here's a little demo. You might want to lower your system volume or mute your TV. I don't think the microphone is picking up that little sound. Yeah, my microphone cannot pick up the sound that it's making, but it is legitimately making the Mario coin and 1-up effects. This is the only LED that's lit up. I can't help but stare at it. Yeah, so these, other than the different buttons up there, a lot of these stamps are going to overlap with the left Joy-Con. You know, that's how symmetry works. So. Areas A, B, and C, baby. If you'd like to learn a little something about the mouse sensor, you've come to the right place. The mouse sensor doesn't just have a camera. It also has a light. This invisible light, known as infrared light, is used to illuminate surfaces, such as a table or your lap. Fun fact about this invisible light, it may become visible when viewed through a smartphone camera. Normally, a mouse's camera focuses so it can clearly reflect the immediate area. This is not the case for the Joy-Con 2, because the height of the Joy-Con 2 changes slightly depending if the strap is attached or not. This is enough to blur the focus, preventing the camera from capturing the surface clearly. So in order to focus with or without the strap, it includes a custom lens. Here on the Joy-Con 2 controllers, we applied 2 small sheets. These sheets are called mouse feet. These mouse feet make the Joy-Con 2 easier to slide around. The Joy-Con 2 controller can function like a mouse when you stand it on a surface. It reverts back to the typical controller when you pick it up. You can experience this in games that support mouse controls. The console analyzes the data from the mouse sensors and accelerometer. It uses this data to check whether the Joy-Con 2 controller has been placed on a surface or if it's being held. The home menu supports mouse controls. Give it a try there. Long ago, Nintendo used to sell its own mice. There was the Super NES mouse in 1992, and the Nintendo 64 mouse exclusive to Japan in 1999. Incidentally, the mice of old used a ball which rolled around inside. Nowadays, mice are far easier to use. There's no need to roll balls all over the place. Say, change back, please, into the console microphone, or ask a friend for help. When the Joy-Con 2 controllers connect to the Switch 2 console, the magnets in the console's main body attract the SL and SR buttons. There are a couple reasons for this. For one, it makes the Joy-Con 2 controllers more difficult to detach. The SL and SR buttons pop out ever so slightly when they're being pulled in by the magnets. This helps them attach snugly to the magnets. The SL/SR buttons have room to move a little in multiple directions. This makes it more difficult to detach even if you try to wiggle them around. The Nintendo Switch 2 console has hidden openings on it, like this one here. This gives the magnets room to stick out. The openings are covered with a sheet of material that's around 0.2 millimeters thick. The closer a magnet is to what's attracted to, the stronger the force. That's why each one is covered with such a thin sheet. If you look closely at where the Joy-Con 2 controllers attach to the console, you'll notice there's a very narrow gap. There's actually a very important reason for this gap, which makes it harder to detach the Joy-Con 2. Without this gap, if you tried to twist the Joy-Con 2 controllers, the principle of leverage would make it easier to detach. Even the tiniest of gaps is there for a reason. These connectors on the Switch 2 console are what connect the Joy-Con 2 controllers to the console. You may think they look flimsy at first, but rest assured that the connectors have been designed to be safely used for a long time. First of all, the colored parts of the Joy-Con 2 controllers slot firmly into the console, while the connectors on the console and the controllers loosely attach. This is still enough to connect them, however. As a result, even if you twist the Joy-Con 2 controllers attached to the console, force will first be applied to the colored parts of the controllers. This makes it difficult to apply force to the actual connectors. Video shown for illustrative purposes only. What's more, even if you do forcefully twist the Joy-Con 2 controllers attached to the console, there's actually a little leeway for the connectors to move around. Since the connectors move in the direction they're twisted, it's harder to apply force to them. Hooray! Another little extra insight from this lady. If you go to the system settings via the home menu, you'll find accessibility options, text size, bold text, high contrast, text-to-speech, and more, including the option change speech to text during game chat. You can adjust all these settings however you'd like, so be sure to give them a look. Think that opens up Area D? Or does. I have an important safety message for you. Regardless of how badly you may want to see the inside of hardware, like a game console or controllers, please do not disassemble any of it. It could be dangerous to do so. Instead, you can safely observe the interior contents from the safety of this welcome tour. I have a lost item. Oh, this is the... Okay. That's the percentage for the entire area, and because there's stuff I can't do yet, it's not 100. Down we go to the inside. Joy-Con 2 inner area. That's where a lot of the fancy stuff would be, eh? It's pretty awesome we get to see the circuit board. NFC touchpoint from the inside. What is this place? Home button from the inside. I found a hat. So this is machine learning. The capabilities of technology never cease to amaze me. Plus button on the inside. There's a spring on this side, too. Let's get our face buttons. Oh, there's a ladder going even deeper down. I can't find the rest of the stamps. Not sure I've looked under the ladder yet. I think the inner parts of the R button, ZR button, and release button are around here somewhere. How do they all work? Battery. Drum magnets are used to make it rumble. I'm learning so much. Fancied myself quite the golfer, but this is tough. This minigame combines the gyroscope with the mouse. And the other stamps. If you want to go blah, 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 blah. HD Rumble 2. It really felt like the balls were they're bringing this back. Oh, it has to be handheld. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that from a Rumble demo. Speed golf. Whoops. Oh, come on. Ah! What? No, I didn't mean to touch it. Ah! Oh my god. What? What? God. Oh my god. Really? Okay. Well, I didn't quite hit the 5 seconds. But I'm starting to get there. Nope. Ah. I almost wonder if I could hit it over the hole. It almost looked like it was gonna work. Nice. I'm gonna exit this. I don't find that comfortable to do the twisting with the mouse. Oh god, part 2. Nope, 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 nope. Alright, multiple north and south poles. Strong vibrations require strong magnetic forces. As such, the Nintendo Switch 2 system's HD Rumble 2 needs strong magnets. Its magnets are stronger than those used for the Switch system's HD Rumble. However, it's not just a strong magnet. A normal magnet consists of 2 poles, a north and south. But the magnets in HD Rumble 2 have multiple north and south points. And by combining several of these magnets, we get a force that's stronger than that of a 2-pole magnet. If the rumble is too strong, things can get a little noisy. Buttons and other parts may rattle into each other. This is not ideal. So we took various measures to ensure it's not too noisy. Parts are attached with double-sided tape. This prevents gaps from forming. Our goal was to make you feel the vibrations as much as possible. Nintendo has been making cartridges with Rumble for a long time. What's a cartridge? Well, you could say they're the precursor to modern day game cards. 1999, Pokemon Pinball. 2005, WarioWare Twisted. 2006, Drill Dozer. 2005, Nintendo DS Rumble Pack. With these cartridges, the cartridge itself was rumbling. Hooray, huzzah. More insights. As you may have noticed, the Switch 2 system is larger than the Switch system. For that reason, the Joy-Con 2 controllers are also larger. But we felt that if all we did was make the controllers bigger, it might have been more difficult to use. So we made a number of adjustments to make sure the new size wouldn't hinder them. For example, making the Joy-Con 2 controllers bigger meant it could be harder for some players to reach the LR and ZLZR buttons. So we extended the length of these buttons. Another issue was that the corners on the bottom of the controllers would press into your hands. We solved this by rounding off these corners. In addition to these changes, we tested various button positions, millimeter by millimeter, to make them easy to press. In short, we put a lot of effort into making sure Joy-Con 2 controllers would not be a problem. They're designed to be easy to use even with smaller hands. One way we made the Joy-Con 2 easier to hold is by making the L and R buttons longer. This makes these buttons easier to press even when you're using mouse controls. To make these longer buttons feel satisfying no matter where you press them, we built in 2 shafts, each of which contain a spring. Go ahead and press the L and R buttons in various spots to see how they feel. The Joy-Con 2 has a C button. This lets you access the game chat menu. The name of the button may make you think of the A and B buttons, but it's similar in function to the home button. Special gloves are now provided so anyone can play. The number of buttons has been reduced to make them lighter. A pleasant sound now plays. The cha-cha button. The fact that they felt the need to dedicate an entire question to what's the name of the C button, where the answer is the C button. Yeah, it's a little... Anyway. Isn't there one more stamp? Yeah. There is, in fact, one more stamp. I know I've looked down here. At least I think I did. Oh. The Joy-Con 2 chip. Area E shall open. Ooh. Super resolution. You'll get to see what the same picture looks like before and after super resolution. Why is this in the Joy-Con 2 inner area? I mean, they definitely made the image on the left fuzzier. 720p, always that fuzzy? I mean, like, look at the edge of the Joy-Con, for example. See the UFO in fine detail. No, I did not know how to make the UFO appear. I was just playing around and it showed up. Yeah, that's it. All you get is a left Joy-Con and the Switch 2 console. And there was that other demo, but it required me to put the system into handheld mode, so, yeah, I can't exactly show that right now. Oh, there was a quiz I never did back in Area 1. Man, I was sloppy. This is where I was supposed to first learn about the mouse sensor. Joy-Con 2 can be used as a mouse. You can play with a cursor. There's more to it. This is blah, blah, blah. By the way, you might find it easier to hold the Joy-Con like this. Mouse responsiveness may vary depending on surface, but you can use it on your leg. Both Joy-Con have it. There's the sensor. They're actually black and white cameras. Low resolution. Fewer than the Game Boy camera. They just check their surface. They capture thousands of photos in a single second. This allows very precise movement. When you're using mouse controls, the Joy-Con 2 controller doesn't just act like a mouse, there's other things it can do. The gyroscope can work together with it. Mouse can work with HD Rumble too to let you feel rumble. You can play with 2 mice at once. In what way can you play with Joy-Con 2 mouse controls? By nibbling on cheese. Underwater? That would be wild. You can locate nearby sandwich shops with the gyroscope. Well, that added 10% to my Joy-Con 2 area. All right, I do think that 2 hours and 20 minutes of this is enough for one sitting, but thank you for joining me on this little excursion. Obviously, this information is not presented in necessarily the most engaging way. For a lot of it is just read and repeat what you read as far as the actual insights go, but it seems like there's going to be a bit more depth with the minigames. We'll see. I am in the camp that thinks this should have been a free pack-in, just for the record. Like, come on, it's a shrine to the console itself. But yeah, this will have its moments. But it definitely taught me that I at least need to try playing around with the mouse sensitivity. So, hey, there's something for you. Hey, thanks to everyone who stopped by tonight. And hope you're having a good one. Bye.